Welcome back to part 2 of Tips to Stay on Track During the Holidays with Diabetes, part 2 during and after the event.
Now you're getting to the event, of course, to the event. And one of the things with holidays, again, your eating schedule tends to get out of whack, right? So sometimes the eating might be delayed or might skip meals, maybe skipping meals, trying to save up on the carbs. So to try and have more food later on in the evening. But this can be very dangerous, especially for persons with diabetes, because this can cause really unpredictable ways in the blood sugar levels. And so have to be mindful that you're sticking to a regular eating schedule, having that breakfast, that nice, healthy, balanced breakfast, having your lunch, your dinner, but so keeping a regular time for have those meals, right? I know that most times want to skip it, but think about when you skip a meal, right? You get really hungry, right? Your body wants energy. You might, I don't know if you've ever noticed it, but when you skip meals or you're really hungry, your body sends cravings and you're craving more sugary foods and fatty foods, and most times tend to overeat. Again, this can impact your sugar levels in a very big way. So I'm being mindful that helping to keep a regular eating schedule can help to maintain better sugar levels. Another thing as well with the eating schedule that can happen is, let's say that you are not eating at home, you're having your holiday dinner at somewhere else. The timing that they might decide to serve the dinner can be different from when you usually have dinner. So what you can do is kind of have an idea. You might want to carry a snack with you just in case. Is what if their dinner is later than usual? You don't want your sugar levels to go too low. So again, you can have that little snack that you carried with you. Christmas dinner can have appetizers like soup and other things like that. Then you have the main course and then the desserts. Sometimes you even go into 5 courses. So one of the things you can do is space it out as well. Give your body some chance to work on the meal. So let's say if you're doing managed water or soup, you can have that maybe around 12, right? That way, and then maybe the main course at around 3. So you're kind of spacing it a little bit and not piling in a lot at once. There's different options giving you, because everyone is different, so providing a little bit of different options so you can see which one you think would work best for you. Okay, now the portion size. Now this is another one that again tends to not be in our minds around the holiday eating time. So I'm just sending here with a reminder here. I know with all the fooders around that is there, prepping for meals and just keeping it in mind can be a little bit hard, especially when you see so many things that you want to enjoy. So here to show you a way how you can still enjoy all those foods that are there and still kind of keep a better control management over your blood sugar levels. So this is a nice little plate that I like to use, right? It gives you an idea of what a healthy balanced plate looks like, right? So you will see where it has half the plate with frozen vegetables, quarter with the starch and quarter with the protein. So I'm going to break it down a little bit. So let's say that around the holidays tends to have a lot of the starchy carbs like potatoes, pasta, bread, rice, different things, right? Now, what do you do in this instance? Does it mean that you have to choose one? Not necessarily. What if there are 5 options, but there's 3 that you really want to have? So what you could do is try those 3 options that you want and make it up to quarter of your plate. So you're having a little bit of each of those starchy carbs and it makes up about quarter of your plate. So again, it comes down to portion size, and then you still get to enjoy the 3 different varieties. Okay, that's for the starchy carbs. So keeping this nice little balance that you see on the plate helps to maintain a nice blood sugar level, so it's not doesn't spike too fast and too high. And I just have to stress the veggies again. Just putting it there. And the vegetables have something very special. They have fiber in it. And that is just so key in when managing those blood sugar levels. So even though you have that starchy food there, the vegetables, the fiber and vegetables help to keep those sugar levels a little bit more stable than if you just had just pure carbs. All right, let's talk about the hydration section now. Most times around the holiday season, hydration is, or the liquid portion is usually alcohol or maybe sorrel. So again, it goes back for the sorrel, it goes back to the recipe. There are different recipes out there that don't use a lot of sweetener, and so that can make it a little bit healthier as well, so they're not too high in sugar. And you can think about calorie free or low calorie or calorie free drinks like water, tea, green tea, different things that don't have a lot of sugar and a lot of calories. This also helps you to have more room for when you're eating, and I'll go further down because you're not packing up a lot of carbs or, I mean, calories there or sugar. In terms of the alcohol section itself, it had recommended to limit alcohol and try not to have it on an empty stomach. Very important because alcohol can affect blood sugar levels differently, and sometimes it can interact with medications as well. So, what I recommend is that you reach out to your physician just to find out what's safe for you, especially when you're going into the holiday season. As you were seeing there, as we went through everything so far, so you got to enjoy a little bit right there, right? And you're seeing it's not that you were restricting and saying, no, I can't eat that. It's just that you're being mindful of the portion size. And before I move on to the next section, as you're going, remember it's a holiday, not a holiday week. So you just want to try and keep on track with the eating habits. That's why we want to keep that eating schedule as you go along: breakfast, lunch, dinner. All right. Now moving on to the next step. So this one is a little bit different. It's plating at the kitchen versus the table. So what it means is that if you're going to plate your meals, if you serve it in the kitchen on your plate, right, you tend to not feel as much as you want to go back for more. Versus if if all the food is laid out on the table in front of you, it kind of encourages you to have more and more, even though you're full, because your brain is just sending signals like, yeah, I need more. So that's one tip you can use to help yourself help with self control in terms of eating and not to overeat too much. And while we're talking about eating at the table and talking about the brain, here's a thing I like to say. When you prepare your meals, especially a holiday meal, it can be very stressful. You put a lot of time and effort in there, right? Maybe looking up recipes, buying everything. And especially around the holiday season, it can be stressful shopping at this time. So you put a lot of work into it. And so did the person that prepared it if it wasn't you. So I think it's a good idea that you sit down and really, really enjoy the meal. Sit down, really just have the aroma of the food. Really enjoy chewing it, the texture, the taste. Just being present with the meal, and that allows you to actually get to eat slower, and it gives your brain time to register that it's full. That's one of the tips that help with managing not overeating. And then this as well helps to, when if you don't overeat, tends to have a better way of managing the blood sugar levels. All right, so we're moving on to the fifth tip. So the question is, can you have desserts if you're struggling with diabetes? So I have different responses to this here that can help you with this. So we already spoke about one, which is changing up the recipe. I gave an example, switching out sugar with unsweetened applesauce, right? Switching out butter with pear. In Jamaica, we have that amazing avocado, the pear, that can actually be used to switch out the butter in some recipes. So that's some examples that you can play around with the recipe. Other thing is having like maybe a healthier dessert. So if you like ice cream, instead of getting the regular ice cream, you can look for one. You can make your own, or you can look for one that is low in fat or reduced. There are different types and low in sugar. Then again, checking the portion size as well. So when choosing your desserts, just check the portion size. So let's say, for example, if you have a bag of cookies, right, to eat, instead of eating an entire bag of cookies, maybe the portion size maybe is about 2 cookies. So you're being mindful of it there. And this last one here that I have here is called carb swapping. What it means is you'd have your regular breakfast, lunch, and the snacks for the day. And when it comes for the holiday dinner, instead of having the starchy carbs, you would leave that empty. So as you see in the plate right here, you see the vegetables still there, right? Half the plate. You see that nice protein, quarter of the plate, but there's an X over the starchy carb. So you remove the starchy carb for that specific dinner. And then you have a little bit more room to add a little bit more carbs to your meal. And so when you're having that dessert, which tends to be high in calories and carbs and high in sugar, you have a little bit more room there to enjoy it. Again, still keeping in mind portion size. It's just that if you are supposed to eat the starchy carbs plus the desserts, the sugar levels will be raised at a higher level than if you just have the dessert instead of that starchy carb. So your sugar levels will still be higher than you want to be, but it's just that you have a better control over it because you have that fiber there. You're not racking up a lot of calories or carbs there. You're being mindful of portion size. So a nice little combination right there. Now, this recommendation here is not something you want to do all the time because, again, desserts tend to be high in calories, high in carbs, high in sugar, depending on what it is, and tend to be low in nutrients. So it's not exactly one of those healthier options. So this is more like a once in a while thing. And you can speak with your doctor as well because medications, you might need adjusting depending on certain food, the amount of food as well. It's definitely a good thing just to talk with them and to get a plan, especially for certain medications. Okay, now we talked about planning before the meal, during the meal. Now we're going to after the meal. Okay, this one is very interesting, and you've probably heard before. Get moving, right? Taking a little walk or to just get moving. Nothing too heavy because you did just eat. So it can be, well, let's say if you're doing after the meal itself, even just moving a little bit can help to start burning those calories, like extra calories you just had, and also can help your blood sugar levels as well. Now, I know you're in a holiday time, the last thing you're thinking about is exercise. So it's just so a nice, fun way to do it is maybe starting a new tradition to have that active holiday event. For some person, it could be like a dance party. Again, not too much if you just ate, but just want to get some type of movement in. So one of the things I love to say regarding those activities, when you involve the family in there, it makes things easier because you want holiday games for fun with the family time. So doing that activity, just walking and talking, just sharing stories of what you just moving, sharing those stories, doing the same activities, but moving while doing that. So I do have a bonus tip. And for this one, something that happens often, but is not spoken about a lot. So during the Christmas season or during any holidays, so much excitement, just staying up talking with family and friends, just reminiscing. And then the sleep tends not to be as good as it should be. A lack of sleep can make it harder for you to manage your blood sugar levels. It can also drive cravings through the roof. You may even find yourself craving sugary foods even more, fatty foods even more. So planning that time to try and get that 7 to 8 hours of sleep can be very beneficial, especially when trying to manage blood sugar levels. So that is the bonus tip there, is to schedule in some sleep. And these are different points if you have diabetes. And again, they can also be applied even if you don't have diabetes. But again, really important to speak with your doctor because different person might have different things they need to just look into. And so creating that plan would be really, really helpful. That was your bonus tip. And let's have a little summary. So it's planning ahead. Try as much as possible to stick to regular meal times. See how you can switch up the recipes, maybe low sugar, low fat, low salt, more nutritious recipes. Also checking portion size as well of your meals, keeping that in the back of your mind. Remember veggies and fruits, serving at the kitchen instead of the table, staying hydrated, other things, eating slow and enjoy your meal, swapping carbs, get moving, creating a plan with your doctor, remembering your medication as prescribed, regular blood sugar checks, be kind to yourself as you go through this holiday, enjoy yourself, get adequate rest, and remember, holiday, not Holy Week or Holy Month. All right, thank you so much for listening. I just want to say have a beautiful, healthy, happy holidays.